Okay, Dee, I started it.
Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, so back to how we want to add the employment for these individuals from the career plan on the customer's profile. We want to make sure that they have a goal added to their profile. So the main goal that we're working on right this very moment is to get a full-time job. And this is going to be under career plan. It's going to hopefully be a short-term goal. And the status is going to be not started just because we're adding the goal. Once we get a step added and get things going, then it will be on track once you start it in the career plan itself. So we've got that goal in place. We're going to come in and build the plan for the customer. Now there may be additional things that you're going to do for this customer, but one of the main things that you want to do is help them get a job. That's the whole goal of this project, is employment. So what we're going to do, because they do get the 90 days of oh my goodness, subsidized employment, couldn't think of the word there, we're going to add complete on-the-job training. And that step is going to be added to their plan. Once you have that step added, it shows up in the bottom here. Now you may add other steps because to get them some job skills, search tools, and getting them some employability skills, those things might be added as well. But this is the piece that we're going to be adding their employment to. So on here, when you want to add that employment, and this is the best place to add it because it populates both the career plan as well as populating the worksite information. And once you enter payroll, then the payroll can show up in the payroll section as well as on the customer's profile. Okay, so as we're doing this, we click the pencil to edit the step. We select a goal to which this step belongs, and we're going to click on this to get a full-time job. And when we add them to the employment for one of these places, we're going to pick. Can somebody please mute their phone? I'm thinking it's Anita there. We're going to add this customer to quality testers here. So when we add this, it tells me what the job is. Now, as you are prepping for your customers, you want to make sure that you are prepping them by adding employers. So you want to have the employers already in place so that you can just add the customer very quickly on their profile. So that would be step one, is to add employers. Then we add the goal, and then we add the step, and we complete that OJT. So here we're going to be adding in the information. Minimum wage for the placement, depending on where you are in the state of Illinois, may be different. So minimum wage for this job, I'm going to assume that this job is in the Cook County area because that's the agency that I'm logged in as. And I believe minimum wage in Cook County right now is $11 an hour. Can somebody type in the chat pod for me and let me know, or tell me yes or no that that's correct? Because I don't think it's risen yet. I know we're on the March to 15, but I'm not sure quite yet. Somebody's making a whole lot of noise. We need you to mute yourself. All right, so we've got $11, oh, $12, thank you. $12 is minimum wage for the area in Chicago. Hourly wage for placement might only be 10, but we need to have jobs that are at least the minimum wage for your area, depending on the age of the participant. So we're going to assume that this person is 18 years old and they need to be making minimum wage. So the hourly wage for placement is going to be that $12 an hour. The subsidized wage or training wage match is what's part of your contract. So based on your contract, we're putting in this dollar amount, and we're putting in $7.75 for the training match. That means that the unsubsidized wage is $4.25. So for the first 90 days of this person's employment, the employer only has to match $4.25 per hour, because you are compensating that person on their behalf the $7.75. The position type is full-time or part-time. You can pick whatever that is. We're hoping that it's full-time, but it may start out part-time and then change to full-time. We're going to mark this one as part-time. We're going to start this employee, and they actually started last week. 2 weeks ago. They started on the 13th. They do not have an end date because they are still working there. We enter how many hours a week their average hours are. So we're going to assume that on average, this customer is working 30 hours a week. It is not WIOA funded. There are no special instructions, and there were no situations on the customer's application that indicated there were any challenges to their employment. So we don't mark anything here. But if there were something that the customer didn't really realize, you can add an additional item. So maybe this was limited work experience. So that's a challenge to employment that this customer, you're going to help them overcome by getting this job. Once you're done with all of that, you want to update the customer service, and it will then add the employment to the customer, as well as adding it into the workplace skills for reporting purposes down the road. Service provider for this step is Austin's People Action Center. There is a dollar value assuming that we're doing the subsidized employment, but we don't know what that total is going to be. If it's 90 days at 8 hours a day, it could be 10 hours a day. That's what your end value would be. And there will not be any credentials with this unless they perhaps get a credential on the job. Maybe they learn how to drive a forklift and they get their forklift certificate. You can always add the credential. So that is how you add the career plan. Do we have any questions about adding the employment through career plan?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes.
I was wondering.
You gotta talk into your mouthpiece a little bit better.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. So if we've created a job site already in the other area, when you add it here, will it just populate all that information, or do we need to re-add the salary and all of those things again in that section?
Did you add it under worksites, under the worksite placement tab? Yes. It will not show up in the career plan at that point. The employer information will populate into the career plan for you, but it will not put the customer into the system that way. So it won't count in the performance step. So the PPR, it will not count in the PPR unless you complete the step in the career plan. So that's why we're suggesting that right off the bat, you come in the career plan and add the employment from there.
So are you expecting for us to go back to previous clients that we've had and do this step over again?
There's a lot of ancillary noise here. So I'm thinking that you asked me, do we want you to go back and add the information to the customers? I would suggest that you do this year for sure. I don't know that you would need to do the previous year, unless your performance was bad enough in that area that you're not getting credit for that.
And you say we don't get credit for it if we don't go back and follow this step.
Correct. If you don't finish get the job or get the on the job training step, you may not get credit in the performance report for that. And that also affects the 30, 60, 90, 180, and 270 performance.
All right.
So I'm not quite sure who asked that question, but did that answer it for you? Thank you, Jay. All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about adding payroll. So I'm going to go to the clipboard looking piece, and that's the worksite placement. And Nicole confirmed that she would like everybody to upload their payroll. And what I'm going to show you is how you can do this so that it shows up. And on here, you go to the Payroll tab. And we've done this before, we've explained it before, but we're going to do it again today, just so that everybody knows. So we've got CYEP as our program, and I'm logged in as a user from, I believe it's Austin, yes, Austin's People Action Center, Austin People's Action Center. And I'm going to go to the section that says Add Payroll. So I put in a payroll start and end date. So I just added this customer for the 13th, so I'm going to do payroll for the 13th to the 24th. I'm going to download that payroll template. And it's going to open up, and you're going to see oh, we got to get everybody that hasn't already been checked in. We've got to get you all checked in. So I see somebody from Jewish Children Family. Oh, it's not going to. So table editing. So on here, it gives you everybody that is in your customer load. And all you have to do on here is go to the hours worked and enter some hours that they worked. And you should have, I would suggest that you have timesheets or time cards as backup for each of these pieces, so that if you get audited, then you've got the backup for this. We've got, I'm just going to put in some hours. Oops. Let me go down to a couple of other people. All right, so I'm just entering some hours, and you might not have, of your customers, you might not have everybody working at this time. With other programs, we've just deleted the rows of the people that don't have any hours associated with that particular pay period. One of the things that you can do with this, if you would like to see what the subsidized wage is that you actually paid out, you can add another column and put in the formula. So this would be hours at subsidized. And then the formula would be this. And I'm not the best at Excel. I just do know how to get there. So we're doing J2. All right, so we've got J2 times, and that's the little star symbol, times K2. And that gives you this formula. Oops. You have to be in the square where you want it, sorry. Equals J2 star, whoops, K2, and I keep typing wrong. And then you hit enter, and that gives you the number. It will automatically calculate the column for you. So then at the bottom of this, you can hit the auto sum, and it will give you the total of what your subsidized wages are for that payroll that you're uploading. That way it's a double check for you. And then, so I'm going to save this document. So this is File, Save As, and we're going to put this in CYEP. And it tells you who the organization is, what the payroll dates were for that time period. So if you want to just file it that way, you can. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to go back to the sheet. I got something working on my other screen here, so I'm going to go back to the program, and I'm going to upload that payroll template. I'm going to look for that document. I use this quick access tool a lot. So I'm going to do this right here, open it up. Oh, sorry, you can't have it open if you're trying to upload it, at least on my computer. And upload. Oh, goodness. I have payroll entries. oh, it probably doesn't like my extra column. So save that extra column after you've uploaded the document, and then you can upload this document here. So let me fix that. It's not going to like that slash. Sorry, folks. Now you know I'm not perfect. Uh-oh. Okay, so now I'm going to upload the correct document. And what it's telling me now is I have 35 customers. I had a total wages of 1,512. There were no errors on my payroll. I can view the payroll records, so it would give me that Excel spreadsheet that I just uploaded. I can remove it. The other thing that you may want to do is upload related documents. So if I wanted to, I can upload now. I can upload that document that has the subsidized wage on it, so that it's there, or I could upload timesheets, or I could upload anything else related to those expenditures. Maybe you actually gave a check to the organization as to repay them for the subsidized wages. You may want to include a copy of that check or that payment or invoice. So I'm going to submit this. Once I submit it, then I can see in the bottom piece here for the payroll, and if I click on it, I can view it. It shows me what the total wages of the submission was. If I want to export it, I just click on the export piece. All right, you can close now. I can click on the export piece and it will bring up the Excel spreadsheet. So just in case you've lost the document, you can see what you actually entered for each of those customers. And it's going to open it back up here. So we'll wait just a second. Any questions from anybody about uploading the payroll? And I apologize for the confusion on the document. So any questions about that? You're all going to be experts, right? Yay. All right. I'm not hearing anybody asking anything. Okay, to clarify, this is only for subsidized employment, correct? It will start out as subsidized employment for that first 90 days. And then after that, you still need to follow up with each of your customers until they reach that 270 days. But you don't have to, as far as I know, you don't have to enter employment pay for anybody that's not being subsidized. You would probably need to upload stubs, pay stubs, to the customer's file to verify employment, that it continues through that 270th day. But I don't know if you're collecting pay stubs every time they get paid or if you just want them monthly. And I don't know when you're uploading them, but I would, if I were checking your program, I would be checking to make sure that you at least have that 270th day pay stub. Okay. All right. So while we have a break here and let you think about any other questions, is anybody from any of the organizations on here that do not have, that I don't have a check mark by your organization? And if anybody was on the call last week that isn't marked, please let me know that too. And you can type in the chat pod or you can let me know by microphone. All right, I got Jewish family. Who's F. Brown and where are you from? And Kristen's with the state. Employee connections. My goal is for at least one person from every organization to be on the call so that your organization is getting any news and updates. Boys and Girls Club of Chicago, SGA, Youth and Family Services. All right, and on your names when you check in, it would be really nice if when you check in that you could put your name that I would call on you with. So like Megan Ruffin from Project Oz did it perfectly. Regina Packard from Employee Connections did it perfectly because they put their whole name and the name of their organization, and that way I can get people checked in. So do I have anybody from African American Christian Foundation, Albany Park Community Center, Angel of God, Asian Human Services, Aunt Martha's, Boys and Girls Club Freeport, Center for New Horizons, Chicago Area Project, CAPS, Community Unit School District 12, Homework Hangout, Leadership Development Institute, Leslie Bates, Public Image Partnership, Puerto Rican Cultural Center, UCAN, Universal Family Connection. All right. All right. So I'm going to keep track of these attendants and let Nicole and Kristen know who's showing up to the meetings, because then if you're not getting the right information, it's on you. We are providing information for you, so we hope that you will, if you cannot be on the calls, then at least watch the recording. All right, we will have some more information for you on the PPR next week, as well as we've got a project that we're working on right now. We want to make sure that you're doing the adding the employers, adding a goal, adding the step and completing the step in their career plan, adding the payroll, so that all of these things populate both the plan and the worksite information. and that it shows up for the individual after the group. That's how we get that into the payroll. So let me show you. I'm going to go to Natasha's CYEP and show you how the payroll shows up after the fact. So on Natasha's profile, under her worksite placement on her profile, we see down here at the bottom all the payroll that has been entered for Natasha. So we can go in and check to see. We decided we need an export here, so we will be adding that eventually. But this way you can see how much payroll has been entered for which customer when. We can see that we just added $80 for her for 5/13 to 5/24, and we added another $80 for 5/20 to 5/28. Natasha gets a lot of work because she's an example a lot. So on here, this is where you can see where they've worked and how much they have worked. All right, any other questions from anybody? All right, and I got everybody that's on the call in the attendance. So if you did not let me know, please let me know now or forever hold your peace. It looks like I've gotten everybody that's checked in. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll get this recording up as soon as I can. And we will talk to you next Tuesday, 1:30. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.